Hello everyone, I'm Rochelle Chernowski. This is Shell Point Today for Thursday, April 25th. On today's show, we hear the beautiful melodies of the Chimes group. We'll also talk to John Fielding of Junonia, who fought as an infantryman in the Vietnam War and brought along a movie camera to document his experiences. But first, we have this note from the Springs, who celebrated their one-year anniversary last week. Rita Southern and her team are always hard at work in the community, spreading the good news of our newest assisted living facility. You can read all about it on pages 26 and 27 of your Shell Point Life magazine. Now, do you know someone who might benefit from the caring assisted living offered by the Springs? Well, here's the perfect opportunity to learn more about it. They're offering a free tea and tour at the Springs to show people firsthand about all the services offered there. It happens this morning at 10 a.m. at the Springs. To sign up or learn more, call our assisted living hotline at 454-2077. They can also tell you about all their events and tours planned throughout the summer. Once again, if you have any questions about assisted living, give them a call at 454-2077. Now, looking forward to this weekend, we have an organ concert coming up at the Woodlands Commons. But this particular organ concert is unique in several different ways. First, we have a new performer coming to Shell Point, Claire Fassey, organist for New Hope Presbyterian Church and member of the American Guild of Organists. Secondly, we're also welcoming the Southwest Florida Handbell Ensemble, who will join the organ for a truly unique musical collaboration. And lastly, rather than two shows in one day, we are combining everything into one show tomorrow night at 7 p.m. at the Woodlands Commons. It's a free concert, so invite your friends and neighbors for a night of beautiful organ medleys and delightful handbells tomorrow night at 7 p.m. at the Woodlands Commons. Making music with handbells is a unique experience because a large group of people must work together to create a harmonious sound. The same is true with tone chimes, devices that have built-in hammers which are played like handbells and create a very similar sound. Our Tone Chimes group meets every Monday at 1:15 in the Osprey Room, and occasionally they also give public performances, like this one last week. Let's watch a little bit of the performance with director Jane Haynes and the Shell Point Tone Chimes. The Tone Chimes group welcomes anyone who would like the opportunity to make beautiful music. If you can count to 4, then you can play tone chimes. They're taking a break for the summer, but if you're interested in trying the tone chimes, talk to Jane Haynes of Lakewood to learn more. We want to shift gears now and talk about remembrances and memorials. Our calendar seems to be full of them. For example, today's Village Church segment will be about the National Day of Prayer on May 2nd, and Memorial Day is not too far behind after that on May 27th. But what if you wanted to commemorate an event that doesn't have a specific date? And in fact, what if this event is so controversial that many people don't even want to talk about it, much less commemorate it? Last Memorial Day, President Obama announced that the federal government is commemorating the 50th anniversary of the Vietnam War by honoring veterans of that war, highlighting the service of those on the home front, and discussing the outcomes and results that came about because of the conflict. There's one Shell Point resident who has a unique perspective on the war, John Fielding of Junonia. As an infantryman, he fought on the front lines of Vietnam, Cambodia, and Laos. At the same time, he brought with him a Kodak Super 8 movie camera and captured film of what it was like for the soldiers in his platoon. John also encountered danger coming back to the United States as violent anti-war protests forced him to hide his military background. However, after 9/11, public opinion changed toward veterans, and John joined a group of his native Connecticut who assisted with military funerals. The ups and downs of life in the military were magnified for all Vietnam vets. So in commemoration of the 50th anniversary of this conflict, we'd like to bring you the story of one veteran, John Fielding.
My wife and I were high school sweethearts, and we went to school together in Middle Island High School in Middle Island, Connecticut, and that's where we're from. My uncle, who I'm named after, John Fielding, he basically was gassed to death in World War II, the Germans, and so I don't have any penchant to get involved in the military. I went to Niagara University in Niagara Falls, New York, a small Catholic college in Niagara Falls, and it was a land-grant school at the time. Mandatory requirement to have 2 years of military training. So I graduated from Niagara University in 1962. A couple of things were going on. The Cuban Missile Crisis was floating around, and all of a sudden I got a notice that I was to report on such and such a date. I was going to be sent to Hawaii. I didn't plan to stay. I planned to get my 3 years in and out. Small little battalion that I stayed in for 4 years in Hawaii. The 1st Battalion, 35th Infantry. And we went basically to Karat in Thailand, where the Army was now worried about what was going on in Laos and on in Cambodia, and they started to put in a airfield there. And within a few short months, outbreak comes at Vietnam, and so off I went and spent the next 4 years there. What did I do? I'm a grunt. Okay, I am an infantryman. I wanted nothing to do but be an infantryman. We'd go out in small groups. We went out to try to figure out where the enemy was and what's going on. From some intelligence coming down that something was going to happen in X location, and you'd go out there and try to find them, try to ambush them, try to just look around, usually in jungles. I had 2 types of malaria, and I was laying in a bunk one place, and all of a sudden the battalion commander says, "I need you now. You got to go." He says, "Captain, I want to tell you one thing. When I tell you to get down on the ground, you get down on the ground." He says, "I told your predecessor not to stand up and look around the tree. He was the guy on the stretcher going out. So I'm saying, boy, this is going to be something. And what I found out very immediately, that there were 10 guys lying dead from my unit who were hit in an ambush. And so my first thing the next day was to stand there and salute 10 dead soldiers hanging out of a meshed net being picked up by a huge chopper. And that was hard. And then turning to the guys from that same platoon and saying, we're going out there now to go after the guys. These guys are tough guys. It was kind of interesting because I was 22 years old. It's like going up to your dad and saying, Dad, can I have the car tonight? You go, you know, these guys knew more about what was going on than you knew, but they didn't go for the training. We had a lot of good training in Hawaii, the jungles. There's a lot of jungles in Hawaii. I finally able to get the rank of captain and had 150 men under my control. During my term, while I was the commander, I only had 9 other soldiers that were killed in action. We went up to go into a landing zone on an open field, come in with helicopters. There were 6 of them in this straddle. And once the first one goes, you all go. And at the time, I was in the last chopper coming in. Well, the first 4 of them went down. And mine went down, except we knew we could jump out before it went down. We could look over and see that there were enemy machine guns over there. Pushed my interpreter out the door, jump out the door. We're jumping maybe 8 feet off the ground by that time, but we're at least not going to go down and get smacked. And I crawled over to a rock that was laying out there. Well, when I got over to it, it wasn't a rock. It was an unexploded American bomb that went in there. And I pulled the dirt off this rock, and it says United States Air Force. So we decided we had to get out of there, and we went running. And what I happened to do was, we could, you know, all the smoke and all that stuff. I stepped on a punji stake that went through, managed to pull it out so I could run some more. That was a tough one, and I could still feel it in cold weather. But it's no more getting that from a football injury in high school. Not a single person on those 6 choppers that went down were killed in action. We went out and worked with the natives, all kinds of tribes, North Vietnam. They went into a village and they told them, you are coming with us. You are going to carry packs on your back. All families, basically, and their children. Now, when you see the helicopters come in, those are ours. Now, you can imagine someone living up in the mountains. They've never been in a car before. And we'd tell them, we're going to put you in this helicopter. We got them out of there. We got them out of there by the hundreds. Oh, the camera was one of these, I think it was a Kodak, and it would just fit inside my map case, which I carried. And I would just do it one after another and one after another, and I send it to my wife. I was going to be a school teacher, and now I was going to be able to show these films. We got good mail. Mail came every day. We also had beer about twice a week. Everybody got 2 cans of Pepsi, everybody got 2 beers. And you know what they all wanted? They all wanted the Pepsi. And then they got smart and started sending in bottled milk. They're handing out beer and everything. We want milk! We want milk! We haven't had milk in X number of years. I stayed there for 4 years with that battalion. About that time was time to go. When we got off the plane in Oakland, California, basically, you know, some guy wanted to kill me because I had a uniform on. So I took it off and finally found a New York State policeman who escorted me over to Grand Central Station. It was not a good situation. I was going to be a school teacher. I taught high school, a public school, Colchester, Connecticut, where I taught. My wife taught in East Haddam, which was where she taught. She was a special ed teacher. We had a good life. And when we got into our community, people went out of their way to help us. When 9/11 came along, I started I got a veterans club I was in town. And I got them to basically do military funerals. We get in a uniform, we have a firing squad, we have a chaplain if they want it, we have a bugler, we do that, we do the flag, have now done 880 funerals. With 9/11 coming along, it's completely different. If I go to the grocery store over here, and if I stand out there long enough waiting for my wife and she sees basically a sticker on there, someone will come up and tell me, say thank you for your service. I've had the police pull me over and they say, thanks for your service. Get your foot off the tap. You know, it's entirely different. I wait till my grandchildren get a little older and might take them down to the wall and say, this is what it is, but it's a tremendous thing. I would not have stayed in if it was not for the soldiers. That's what made me stay with it, and if I had to go again, I'd go for those guys.
If you have stories from Vietnam that you'd like to share, we would like to help. Contact Jared Pike by phone or by email, and let's explore that history together here on Shellpoint TV. For now, we are covering all of today's happenings, followed by your menus and Village Church connections.
Welcome to the Happenings segment of Shellpoint TV. Today is Thursday, April 25th, and I'm Suzanne Savate here with Bev Chanley to go over all the activities happening at Shellpoint today. We'll start the morning off bright and early at 7:15 with the Health Connections, Bend, Breathe, and Balance in the Health Club on the island. At 8 o'clock, the Men's Golf Association will be meeting out at the Shellpoint Golf Club. And also at 8, we have the Round Robin Men's Doubles Tennis Group meeting out at the tennis courts at the Woodlands. At 9:30, the Current Events Group will meet in the game room at the Woodlands. And also at 9:30, we have the Ladies Match Play Group meeting out at the tennis courts at the Woodlands. Finally, for 9:30, we have the Paddlers Club meeting at the Kayak Storage on the island. At 9:45, we have Introduction to Beginning Line Dancing on the Health Club on the island. And at 10 o'clock, the Springs Tea and Tour will take place down at the Springs. Call 454-2077 to RSVP. At 10:15, Basic Line Dancing will take place in the Health Club on the island, followed by Advanced Line Dancing at the Health Club at 11:15. Now here's Bev for the afternoon.
Thanks, Suzanne. At 1:15, we're going to start out with Mahjong being played in the Library Lounge. Also at 1:15, we have Shuffleboard played on the Shuffleboard Court. At 1:30, we have Walk With Me support group. That'll be in the Social Center. And then 2:45 brings us to a Health Connections class. This one is Balance and Mobility Training Level 2 in the Health Club. That is full currently. At 4 o'clock, our seamstress will be here for her weekly service, and she will be in the Osprey room if you need any sewing done. At 4:30, we have an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting in the Sable room of the Woodlands. And at 7 o'clock, Pinochle will be played in the Library Lounge on the island. And then our last activity for the day is 7 o'clock. The Trailblazers Bible Study will be in the game room of the Woodlands. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and we will be back here with the weekend edition tomorrow.
Menus for Thursday. In the Crystal Room, the Crystal Platter is chicken and sausage gumbo with black-eyed peas and rice. The dinner special is the Crystal Carving Board for $10.95, and the soup is navy bean. In the Island Cafe for lunch today, enjoy a roast beef club with chips for $6.95. The dinner special is Thai night for $7.95. Dinner specials on the Palm Grill tonight are New York strip for $19.95 or Chilean sea bass for $18.95. All menus are available 24 hours a day at www.shellpoint.net.
Hi, I'm Randy Woods, and I'd like to tell you today that in support of the National Day of Prayer, the Village Church will host a community prayer service on Thursday morning, May 2nd, here at the Village Church. Led by Pastor Hawkins, this prayer service will provide an opportunity for our church and the community to pray together for 7 centers of influence: government, military, family, media, church, business, and education. Several leaders from our community, including Peter Dice, Don Stainhook, Lynn Schneider, Peter Nanfelt, Terry Kolath, and Dick Armstrong, will offer prayers for these national and community concerns. There will be a festive community chorus with soloists and instrumentalists as they share special music in the morning. All are invited to come here to the church for coffee and donuts starting at 10:15, followed by the National Day of Prayer community service, which will begin at 10:45 here in the church sanctuary. This is a great opportunity for the church and community to come together and pray for our nation. We indeed are trusting that God will bless America. As I continue, you may enjoy seeing and hearing what others are saying about the National Day of Prayer in this video.
I don't know of any time in recent memory where it has been more important for us as a nation to get on our knees before God and call upon Him for wisdom.
Lord, give our leaders wisdom and guidance, and may our courts rule justly.
Pray confidently, with joy and full anticipation and expectation for our country to influence our culture and our national character.
Use us, God, to influence our culture for you.
The most powerful individual in our country is the one who faithfully prays.
Lord, may we rise up as a people, a powerful force who will be faithful in our prayers.
Let's dedicate ourselves to be intercessors and to be diligent in encouraging others to commit to this spiritual discipline.
In His name, the nations will put their hope. Will you pray for America?
We're glad you joined us for today's show. Tune in tomorrow as Carol Clark discusses the important role nurse practitioners play at the Shell Point Medical Center. Until then, this is Shell Point Today for Thursday, April 25th. I'm Rochelle Chernowski. From all of us here at Shell Point TV, we hope you have a great day, and we'll see you again tomorrow.